Michael, in your book, Daniel, your main character, got the idea for the game-movie interaction, the writing instructor, from an old map he found in Seattle. Is that where you got your idea for the book too?
He actually gets the idea for the structure of the game from the map. He's had the idea that he wants to do something about the White Russians for longer, before he found the map itself.
Okay.
But the map gave him an opening into devising this game. It was going to be kind of the metaphor on which the whole game evolved, that you moved around this map on a computer, and the screen shows what appears to be a map of Shanghai, but it's all blanked out. You can see the curve of the river, you can't see much else. And you follow sounds, and the sounds rise and fall in volume as you get closer to something happening. And when you get to something happening, you click and the action starts. And he got the idea for doing it this way when he found the map. And he found the map, as you say, in an old bookstore in Seattle. I know exactly which bookstore. In fact, it's at the north end of the Ave, going towards Ravenna Park. Yeah, he found this map there, and suddenly something fell into place, something clicked for him. He knew that this was a key part of the whole project. Once he had the map, things took off for him.
Okay. You also found a map.
I also found a map, yeah. I was in Duffy's Technical Bookstore in Vancouver, which no longer exists. I was standing talking to somebody at one of the shelves, and we were talking actually about this project. And I wanted to do something about Shanghai, and we talked a little bit about Shanghai. And I suddenly became aware that there was, down at my feet, there was a woman crouched, looking at the bottom shelves of the display. And she kind of looked up and said, "Oh, you're interested in Shanghai? I went to graduate school in Shanghai." And we became friends, and she gave me a bunch of stuff. She gave me the image which I use as my name card. And she also gave me the map, which is this map here.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. So in a way you found a map in a bookstore too?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
Just a different bookstore.
Okay. So the map wasn't what gave you the idea, then what gave you the idea?
The idea came the first time I went to Shanghai. And I went to Shanghai to do a story for an airline magazine, a travel piece for an airline magazine. And I was living in Tokyo at that time. And on the plane back from Shanghai to Tokyo, I suddenly had this kind of revelation. And as happens with Daniel in the book, the title came first. And suddenly this title just presented itself to me, the writing instructor. And I knew immediately this was something very significant, that I was going to somehow do something with this title. And it was as if the title was the kind of the tractor that dragged the rest of the story out of the earth where it was bedded. And that was the starting point, getting the title. And I knew I'd gone to Shanghai and I'd done some research before I went. I read a little bit about the White Russian community. And I found that very interesting because my grandmother was a Russian, or at least she came from a Russian emigre family. But instead of going to Shanghai, she went to Switzerland. To Switzerland.
A more
more comfortable place altogether.
Yeah.
And so it must have been just something in the DNA, in the blood, that resonated. I started to learn about this this community of people in dire circumstances. They had no money, they had no identity, they had no passport, they had no nationality, they had nothing. They had no marketable skills. And so they had to scratch around and survive as best they could. And that was the beginning.